This is bigger than video games. They have been infecting the culture with this feminist mindset, with this feminist ideology, with trying to let women know, hey, women, you don't need to start a family. You don't need to have kids. You don't need to let a man control your life. You should go and be your own person. You should be your own person. And it's led to shit like this. This is Hero Hayes' channel, and he got to break some of it down. So listen to this first.
Currently getting an overwhelmingly positive score over on Steam. Many men and women are talking about how they're enjoying the father-daughter-esque relationship between Hugh Williams, the MC, and Diana, an android that he meets. However, Twitch streamer Hasan Piker and a number of Reddit moderators are getting very offended by this game. This user going to our video games, showing how their post on our PlayStation was removed by the mods, and it simply said, wonderful game. This game was absolutely a 10 out of 10 for me. And that
this post was removed by Reddit mods. The same Reddit mods that are calling me a racist and a sexist for hating The Last Jedi or hating woke Hollywood and saying that all we do is push negativity. All we do is push negativity. Here's somebody comes in there and says, wonderful game. This game is absolutely a 10 out of 10 for me. Gets removed.
The OP definitely recommends the game. But as mentioned, it seems like the Reddit mods really didn't like this post. How dare this guy celebrate the game and recommend it? That post ended up getting deleted. With additional context in the responses, we can see a user had said, I remember seeing and upvoting your post. Did they say why your post was removed? The OP says no reason was given. That even messaged the mods asking why it got removed and was just ignored. In another example from 15 hours ago, a user simply asked, is Pragmata good? And that post was also removed by the mods. So many posts.
You have to ask yourself, why are they removing people saying a video game is good? Why? You have to think about the level of craziness that it would take. Good old Hasan Piker now chimes in.
What is this? Capcom's Pragmata. Wait, did it come out already? Pragmata, it's making 1,000 people suddenly want to start a family. You place Hugh as soldier, stranded on a ruined lunar research station. His job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. It's out already? Is it good? Isn't this like Death Stranding? In one emotional moment, she gives him a crayon drawing of the two of them together as a little family. Even streamers who say at the start they didn't want kids end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfaithful losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand.
Oh man, how bad that people want to start a family. How terrible. How terrible that people aspire to start a family.
Understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that you actually enjoy, right? If you're a fucking lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like if they changed hot Cheetos, if they changed
holy fuck.
change the recipe of hot Cheetos, if they change the recipe of like, I don't know, Dr. Pepper or something, and you freaked out about that, that makes sense, right? Like that's precisely what your life is about. But as far as like LARPing about starting families and whatnot, this is something that I never understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me because...
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I really like playing Mario Kart because I love to go out in the real world and throw turtle shells at cars. What?
It's just not something that you're going to experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right?
He then spends like 25 seconds just looking for all this yes men in chat, really thinking he cooked with that take. Of course, I'm speeding this part up. It's just a lot of dead air. And you know what? I got to hand it to the man. This is some impressive stuff. It's not every day you see someone capable of being this out of touch.
Also, I will say, Japanese game, putting a child in there, you're playing with fire, okay? Don't get mad at me for saying this, but I feel like any Japanese game you put like a child, it's gonna invite maybe the worst possible fandom, you know? I know it's not like that. I'm sure the game is not like that, but there will be people who take it like that.
Top responses including, you seem...
Dude, like, what are we talking about? What the hell is even happening? Our buddy Critical Drinker on his Critical Gamer channel actually catches us up on the latest with this. This discussion is absolutely insane, by the way.
If there's one thing you can always depend on with the internet, it's that you'll find people and worldviews that are absolutely guaranteed to destroy what little faith you have left in humanity.
This is
like
true.
with Pragmata, for example, a new game from Capcom about a human soldier who befriends a small girl that's actually a robot and gradually forms a father-daughter bond with her as they work together to escape a dangerous environment. It's a wholesome, charming story of family, fatherhood, and protectiveness that's been so well received, it's apparently making a lot of young people yearn to have children of their own. Which naturally means it's made all the usual suspects completely melt down on social media and accuse the game of everything from promoting PDF files to being some kind of weird far-right conservative brainwashing.
I'm disappointed in your species.
So am I, Neil Breen, every fucking day. This right here is why we can't have nice things.
100%, dude. Like the fact that this is a controversial story. These people have been completely brain rotted over shit like this. It all ties in. You have to understand the demoralization that is going on. It's a cancer that has been spread, and so many weak-minded people have had their brains rotted over this. It's crazy. To further on this, Mary Morgan of Pop Culture Crisis actually addressed the controversy on Pop Culture Crisis right here. So she's bringing up her tweet where she got community noted and absolutely annihilated by everyone. And I don't know exactly where they start talking about it, but let's listen in from right here.
Just want to address this because I don't think it's totally unreasonable for people to get creepy vibes.
Based on what? I just, again, there is nothing in this game that gives you creepy vibes based on anything that I have seen. What are you talking about?
Not because it's sexual in any way, but because this is a game that's primarily being marketed and sold to men who don't have children. And
well, what does that?
This is my hot take, actually. I'll just read it so we don't have to allude to it all the time. So I said, childless men do not have paternal instincts the way that childless women have maternal instincts. We observe this even in the way little girls play versus little boys. So I'm referring to little girls displaying maternal instincts in the way that they play with baby dolls. Even from birth, you can detect that female babies make more eye contact than male babies. It's just ingrained in us biologically that, you know, women are caregivers. They are the nurturers. Men first experience, this is continuing my post.
This is a horrendous take.
Men first experience paternal instincts once they have their own children. And typically those paternal instincts are only ever felt for their own children and no one else's. Contrast that, I guess, with, you know, liberal moms on Facebook crying about children on the other side of the planet. Men are not nurturers. Men don't gush over cute kids in public. Men don't have baby fever. If a man wants to possess a child for any reason other than it being a product of his own lineage, he is likely a predator. Here I perhaps put too much, labor on the audience to interpret what I meant. I was inferring cases where, single men or gay men pursue adopting or
you didn't say that in your post. You didn't mention gay men. You made a generalization about men in general. You did not make that distinction at all. Not even close.
Buying a child via surrogacy without a mother involved in the process. And I do think that that's predatory, and it's predatory in the worst cases, of course, but in most cases, just terrible for the child, because a man can never provide for a child what even an adoptive mom can.
But
because their brains are literally just not wired to be nurturing.
Okay, so
and then I said you'd be taking the
He's protecting the girl in the game. He's protecting her. You are taking a completely different topic and applying it to a game, and it's not even remotely close to the same thing.
feminist / radical gender abolitionist position to protest the above points. This should explain why a dad simulator game marketed to mostly childless men gives people the creeps.
But I feel like so I guess I feel like there's a little bit of an issue here where you're talking about nurturing, but men aren't leaning into the nurturing for something like this. Maybe in this scene, but the point is protection, not nurturing, which isn't.
Thank you. Absolutely. That is the point.
Something inherent to men only after they have kids. There's a reason why brothers are fiercely protective of their sisters, or why I guess the example that I always think of is like, there's a reason why every dude on planet Earth thinks that if they were on a plane with a terrorist, that they would be the one to stop it, to protect the women and the children there, and they don't have to be their own children. I feel like you are having two different discussions with the people in the comments there. And I do believe that men, maybe not at the same rate as women, eventually do come to feel a certain lack if they don't have kids and family. There's like a community note there. I can't rank it. I don't know how accurate it is, so I'm not going to reference it. I don't have the statistics on that, but men do yearn for families to have kids, which is a little bit different given what the discussion you were having.
I didn't even see the community note.
It says research shows childless.
Did she just pretend that she didn't know she got community noted? Come on, Mary. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, that was crazy.
I didn't even see the community note.
It says research shows childless men experience broodiness and desire for fatherhood nearly as often as childless women, 59% versus 63%, and men included non-parents exhibit innate caregiving and protective responses to infants. So I think that the thing is, you were talking about nurturing. Nurturing is kind of in the realm of protection, but not necessarily the same thing. Men are fiercely instinctual towards the protection because we have to be biologically programmed to do it to continue the human race.
Yeah, that's a valid point, and you're right that it draw to protect the vulnerable is intrinsic to masculinity and men's capacity for fatherhood.
That's what I believe.
She's saying that she said that a man that has no lineage or connection will have no desire to have any protection or whatever over a female that's not connected, you know. So Tim Pool came to her rescue. Now, a lot of people are going after Tim Pool. All right, a lot of people are going after him for this. I'm going to take a slightly different approach that many of you will be shocked by. I actually respect Tim Pool's take on this. So what Tim is doing, and I'm not saying he's intentionally doing this, let me be clear, but Tim's action by defending her is simultaneously destroying her own argument while defending her. I'm not saying that was Tim's intention at all, but his action of defending her while she is getting annihilated by the internet is him unintentionally proving her wrong by trying to back her up, because Tim is not her family, not dating her, he's not with her, he has no connection to her outside of the fact that she works for him. So his action to white knight for her, he's doing that to try and back up his friend / employee, and he's proving her wrong all along the way, trying to take some of the heat off of her, whatever. So I do appreciate that was his attempt, even though he is wrong, completely wrong. But it's the fact that his action completely destroys her argument.
So what this is resonating with men is not, maybe the aspect here is like, he's like, I'm going to give her a name, which I suppose leans into the nurture side of things.
Wait a minute. Tim had a 23-minute video response to this today. Now that I did not see. I did not see the video.
But it's directly connected to what men would feel, which is the ability to connect with and then protect someone in a dire situation, right? So if we, like, one of the examples that was getting brought up, if I was looking into this, was like how step parents are different from regular parents, right? But that's not the same thing as somebody being thrust into an extremely dangerous situation where terrorists or robots are coming after you, and then you need to protect those younger and weaker than you. And I do believe that is innate to men, and that is what is resonating with men in this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have a show called Pop Culture Crisis, correct? Right. What does Pop Culture Crisis cover? I know what they cover. They cover the same shit that we've covered for years on Geeks and Gamers, and how Hollywood has infiltrated pop culture to try and weaponize all of this agenda-driven storytelling in order to shift the culture in the direction that they want. But at the same time, Mary is sitting here saying that this game is not going to make anyone go out and have kids and get a family. Your entire brand is built off of Hollywood using these tactics to shift the culture. And now we have a game that is inspiring people to go do the complete opposite of what Hollywood is pushing. And now you're saying that a game cannot convince someone to do that. Make it make sense.
I guess I was just trying to draw the distinction between how men and women respond to the vulnerability of children. I mean, babies being the most helpless human beings on the planet. And it's my perspective that men do not have the capacity to feel for children the way that women do. And
she's making it worse. Just shut up, because you explaining this is making this worse.
It's my perspective that men do not have the capacity to feel for children the way that women do. And I don't know if I've found a better way to articulate it than women are maternal in a more noticeable way than men are naturally paternal.
I guess, like, so one of the things I find most interesting is, like, have you ever seen those videos where it's like when mom's home alone with the children versus dad, and they're always doing something dangerous when they're home alone with the dad? Okay, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not, like, maybe it's because I've done risky things skating for 25 years, but when I see a kid running faster than their legs can carry them, my instinct is to stop them from falling. Like, I'm not like, well, that's how you learn not to run too fast.
Ooh, Josiah. Just destroyed her right there. Just destroyed her.
My instinct is to stop them before they fall. And some might even tell you that's the wrong instinct, because the mother's instinct should be to stop them before they fall.
And hey, Mary, I bet statistics show that there's a lot of women that simply want to, get pregnant so that they can, get the financial perks. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it also interesting, Mary Morgan, that in this country, the United States of America, isn't it interesting that when it comes to having children, that a man is always financially responsible for those kids, yet the woman has the power to abort that kid without the man having any say-so whatsoever? That's pretty interesting, isn't it? The man doesn't have that power. The woman does, though. The woman absolutely has all that power. Isn't that interesting?
The father's instinct should be like, they need to, sometimes they're going to need to take a tumble if they're going to learn to help themselves. I don't know if that's right, but I know that my instinct is to stop them.
since you brought up the aspect of like step parents earlier, it is true that kids are far more likely to get abused by a step parent than a parent. And that is even more of a stark contrast when you look at stepfathers versus stepmothers. That is true. I mean, stepmothers are more likely to enter into a family that is not biologically theirs and be able to be competent caregivers to children that are not theirs. Because, and that's what I'm trying to say, is that women are nurturers. And then I feel like
she's making it worse the more that she talks. She's making this so much worse.
People really didn't even try to respond to me in earnest, and now they're dying on this hill that like men are actually better at nurturing children than women. And that's just,
I didn't know it was this bad. I really didn't. Anytime I have people on my team, like, people can have whatever opinions they want, but we all at one point in time or another find ourselves in a firestorm on the internet for whatever reason. This is the worst possible response to getting dragged on Twitter that I've seen in a while. Well, outside of a guy named The Quartering.
How was your weekend, everybody?
Kind of different circumstances, to be fair.
it's not true.
We've got a couple of 20s here. I'm gonna read them quick. Sorry about that, Shane. It says I just have a psych minor, so what the F do I know? But there's a difference between male innate protector instinct and paternal instinct. Science shows that men's brains rewire during pregnancy as they develop paternal instincts.
Yeah, there is definitely something distinct between a fatherly role and just the masculine protector role.
I think one of the other reasons for...
My God, man. Okay. So, I don't really care to get into too many specifics, but I am a parent to a girl. Okay? I have a daughter. I have a very, very strong connection as a father to a daughter. And I will do anything in the world for her. And I will destroy anybody that even looks at her the wrong way. I will steamroll you. I will end you. And I don't care what punishment I have to deal with. That is just my core, at my core. And that's not just me. That's any decent parent is going to do that. Okay. Like any decent father is going to have that effect. You will be steamrolled. You will be ended. And I don't care what the circumstances are. Okay. Now, that's also exactly why I don't talk about her for the internet. I don't care to talk about her too much because she's not here for the internet. She's my kid and I love her more than anything in the world. I still had a similar instinct before I became a parent. I had a similar instinct that if I was out in public and I just see a young child that is being mistreated or not properly being looked after, I just had an instinct to be like, where is this parents? Where are the parents at right now? Like, that's just who you are as a person. It's not anything that makes me special. I'm just a normal fucking guy that's how I respond. And so this idea, it doesn't make me better or worse than anyone else. It just means that at my core, this is who I am. I'm just a normal dude who just has those instincts. Simple as that. Okay. Trying to make it more complicated than just that is where you start losing people. And this is where she has completely lost the mark. Men and women are different. They are also similar in a lot of ways. But to try and say one is better than the other from a core instinct standpoint on how they take care of children, you have completely missed the point of what makes men and women different. She has no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Again, I think that, so my point was, when I was reading your post earlier, I felt like everybody was kind of having a different discussion. Because though I did disagree with aspects of what you had said up here, it felt like you said, it devolved into a whole other discussion entirely.
Yeah, we've reached reductio ad absurdum where people are now in my replies saying that they would rather hire a male babysitter than a female babysitter. And I'm just like, okay, are we even like having a real conversation anymore?
The way things are going with the female teachers at schools these days, I don't even know how far off that's going to be in the next 5 years, given the stories that have been coming out.
I have a pretty, I think, pretty base take on that. The bottom line is don't hire a babysitter. Find a friend or a family member that you know and trust. Simple as that. Don't hire a fucking babysitter that you do not know and you have no personal connection to at all, male or female. Period. End of discussion.
Okay. About that stuff.
But we could easily spin that around and say most pedophiles are men.
No, I'm saying that like it's more just like it's shocking to people now that it's turned on its foot the way things are going in that direction. But you're right.
That was wild. She just continued to make this worse and worse and worse. Credit where credit's due, I guess. But that was I did not think she was going to make it that bad, but she did.